Professor? Detaining me after hours? What was it for again? Oh, yes. It was regarding my attire, I believe. Such an ungracious accusation from you. That I dress inappropriately. Well, I'm not sure that I like the word inappropriate. It just conjures up such an air of judgment. Perhaps, Professor, you're the moral arbiter of the global consciousness, Consciousness is, after all, one of the biggest mysteries in the universe, which I expect we'll be delving into quite shortly. Well, here we are in your office. I see that your back is still turned, as you expect me to wait patiently for your dressing down. You do seem distracted, gazing at your reflection in the window, Professor. You're certainly not looking at me. I reach into my bag and pull out a slim blue cigar holder, a slender cigar, a lighter, placing them on your impressive old desk. And then I slip on some tight leather gloves, black, shiny, and necessary as I don't want to leave any evidence. Placing the slender cigar in the little blue holder, I place it to my lips, raise the lighter, and lighting the cigar. You're still trying to ignore me, aren't you? Trying to pretend you're not just a little bit curious? Wanting to believe you're still in control? Such an important man, so respected. But right now, for such an important professor, you really don't seem to know what to say. Just staring at me. Maybe you want to explain. There's no smoking permitted here in your office. But you can't seem to say that right now. The words won't come out, will they? You just stand staring at the sight of these black gloves that I'm wearing, watching my fingers clasping the slender blue holder as I take a long, deliberate cheek-hollowing drag, looking right at you. As you just keep staring, your mouth slightly open, trying to protest, but there's just no words right now. You seem a little conflicted, a little confused. Don't worry. I'm very aware of what my stare alone can do to someone, especially if you're not used to being treated this way by someone like me. One of your students? What was that, Professor? Oh, you can speak after all. I cannot smoke inside here. This is a university? Well, of course I know that, silly. And you should know, Professor, that this isn't just a smoke in any case. It's something much better. So I have to ask, am I even smoking? Or am I just clicking this little lighter? It does make such an interesting noise, don't you think? That's it. It seems to catch your attention very well. That sound. That sound just seems to have such an effect on you now. Didn't you say, I cannot smoke in here? You did, didn't you? Well, It's a fine line, Professor. Is it smoking? Or is it clicking? Or maybe it's something else entirely. But doesn't it just smell so sweet? It's just air freshener, really. And here we are. And you're still staring at this pretty blue tube that I seem to be holding in these tight, smooth black leather gloves. So apparently, it would appear, my dear Professor, that I can at least click in here, wouldn't you agree? Not so sure now, are you? Your mouth is opening and closing, but no words are coming from your lips. It does all seem so very confusing right now. It's not going the way you expected at all. Our little talk in your great big office, all this leather and oak paneling, I'm sure it's meant to overawe your students, especially the girls. Would that be right, Professor? Isn't that what you wanted, Professor, when you summoned me here? It is such an impressive office, so overwhelming for such a little student like me. And isn't that exactly what you imagined, Professor? Getting me alone in here? My lips so close to yours? Don't be shy, Professor. Open wide as I take a long, cheek-hollowing drag from my perfect, pretty red lips. And you feel the warm, sweet smoke filling your mouth, filling your lungs. Breathe in. That's right. All the way in. Filling you. Surrounding you with a sweet, smoky cloud. Shrouding your face in my special intoxicant. Professor. Oh, Professor. What's that you were saying? Something about my attire being inappropriate. About marking me down over what I wear. And then something about not smoking. Your back rather rudely turned to me. And then what happened? Did you hear the click of my lighter? What is it, Professor? Cat got your tongue? Are we feeling a little slack-jawed? Perhaps a little befuddled? Wondering what is happening? What do you think is happening? What do you think was in my smoke that you inhaled just now? Or maybe it's just too hard for you to think at all right now. Too foggy. Too woozy. Are you trying to say something? Opening your mouth, but no words are coming out? No words come out, because as soon as you open your mouth, I blow another plume of my intoxicating hypnomix with perfect timing, just as I planned. And you inhale, deep breath in, because you have to, in order to form the words you're trying to speak. But all that happens is I just fill it with more of this wonderful smoke. Well, Professor, what do you think? Does it seem a little difficult to think all of a sudden? I'm waiting. Is it difficult to form an answer? Having trouble focusing on the question I asked? It's okay. There's no need for concern. It's just interesting for me to see what you called smoke leave my perfect shiny red lips and enter into your mouth and nose. Isn't it such an interesting taste and smell, so sweet and slightly intoxicating? Wouldn't you agree? Wondering, was I subconsciously competent in bringing my little hypno-cigar with me for this appointment? Observing the effect, as the intoxicant induces the observer effect in you. Do you know what the observer effect is? Professor? Well, I thought you were a psychology professor. So you really should know, shouldn't you? Did I tell you my major was hypnotherapy? What is the observer effect, I wonder? Perhaps on some deep level you recognize how it feels, but your mind can't think of the words it needs to respond. Don't you worry, Professor. This feeling is so wonderful. Even if you can't find the words, it would appear that I adjusted the dosage perfectly. The dosage you've been breathing in with every drag I blow in your direction. No, I don't smoke cigarettes. I do adore these feminine cigars, though. They do seem to have such an enchanting effect on people. Have you seen the boys following me around the campus? Hoping some of the trailing, sweetly cloying, and intoxicating mix, which has been inside of my lungs, would waft over to them a little. I wonder why that is. Perhaps it's my inappropriate attire, like these skin-tight black leather leggings that you seem to take quite an interest in when you thought my back was turned. Or maybe the push-up bras and low-cut tops. All those inappropriate things do seem to make such an impression on you, now don't they? Wandering mind, trying to contemplate what was it that makes you just want to listen to every word I speak, noticing how you're hanging on my every syllable, wondering what is happening, and if maybe I will explain. Maybe it can't all be explained by science, What do you think? Hello? I asked what you think. Is it hard to think? Does it become harder to think when I ask you what it is that you're thinking? What is the next thought that occurs to you, I wonder? Struggling a little to keep focus, are we? And goes the sound of the lighter again. That sound. Wasn't that the sound of my little toy lighting up, which finally made you pay attention to me? And then what happened? Ah, yes. You turned and seemed to protest at something I was doing. What was I doing? Maybe this will remind you. Another sweet plume of my special intoxicant to breathe in for you. This will help bring it all into sharp focus for you. That's good. That's right. Breathe it in very, very deeply. You know what is happening, don't you? Aren't my shiny red lips so pretty? Feel that breath carry the potion deep down into your lungs, through the walls of your lungs, and so automatically into your bloodstream, where your heart, which pumps so slowly and easily, carries it into your brain. Is it all feeling a little mushy? A bit foggy? What was that again, Professor? Were you trying to say something? Wondering what it is that seems to have you so helpless and vulnerable. How does it feel to be so powerless in your own domain? So used to being the one in control. So craving the admiration of all the admiring students here, usually hanging from every word you speak, just as you seem to be doing right now. Usually so in control, aren't you? Control that seems to be slipping away with every suggestion. Finding that when I speak, and suggestions of things I would like you to do absorb into your ears as my intoxicant absorbs into your bloodstream, the response I suggest will be followed easily and automatically. No responsibility, no ability to respond to anything other than suggestions which seep in and absorb into your befuddled mind. And you will find that when I ask, or suggest, or indeed demand a response from you, the inevitable response will be to follow. You will clear your calendar for the rest of the afternoon. That's right. You're not to be disturbed under any circumstances. Are you trying to resist what is happening? Wondering why you just want to follow everything I suggest? Here, breathe in a little more. I could see your hungry eyes are craving it. Breathe in for me. Good, Pat. We have the rest of the afternoon now to ourselves, and I may reveal what is happening, and indeed, what will continue to happen. Good. I'm going to take my time with you. You've earned that. Earned the lesson that you're receiving and having the tables turned on you. The sound of my lighter clucking and heating the sweet smoke. It really does trigger something in you, it would appear. It was interesting to observe as my clicker clicked and your eyes snapped to the sound and seemed to zoom in on this little toy. Did the sound trigger an expectation, a strong curiosity, which demanded your full attention? Aren't my gloves so elegant? Forming a perfectly soft, shiny, leather-clad V shape around this intoxicating little toy. Yes, shiny, black leather gloves, so dark and sensual. I can't afford to leave any evidence, other than the evidence I want others to find. I slowly, teasingly move the hypnocigar closer to my shiny, luscious lips, where it all seemed to go a bit funny just a short while ago. My perfect lips drag as my lips hollow, and I inhale deeply, adding my pheromones to the mix. You will soon inhale. I am immune, silly, but you most certainly are not. Although I do get a little thrill, a small taste, an experience of the exciting euphoric effect, which is what makes you snap to the attention of the click. You've experienced a taste, but you have only inhaled my special intoxicant 3 times. I assure you that you will crave more of this. Didn't the vapes click expose your inner desires as soon as you heard that sound? A hunger, a craving, a thirst for more revealed you to me. It's going to be like clicker training a puppy from proud, aloof, arrogance to becoming my good, obedient puppy. You're going to be so well trained, my little pet. What is the matter, pet? Your eyes are looking a little glassy. Having difficulty moving, perhaps. Your pulse beating a little faster. Your lips part and swell as the blood flows into all the right places, Has puppy got some strange sensations going on? Oh. That snapped your attention back to me, didn't it? Watching my lips, shimmering before your enraptured eyes, weaving words and whispers which make you weak, wondering, and it would seem, hoping I may bring the little blue holder to my perfect lips and inhale again. That sound creates a craving for more. Such a sweet effect when sensually slipped inside of you from my perfect red lips. It's a compounding drug too, and you know all about drugs and addiction, don't you? I'm quite sure you've lectured many students about drugs and addiction in your aloof, superior style, haven't you? And yet, here you are, laying back in your recliner, observing the effect, craving more of the sweet, sensually seductive mix. Your eyes seem so hungry for more. You want more, don't you, little obedient puppy? Oh, Professor Puppy, did the sound create a craving for more? Wanting to see my perfect mouth drag, inhale, and exhale directly into your open, stupefied face, remembering the sweet, cloying taste and smell of submission. Yes, submission to my control is your inevitable destination. I bring my lips closer, and with one delicate blow, so soft, sensual, and seductive, my breath extinguishes your resistance. Out like a light. Eyes close, snap shut. You go out like a light. Breathe me in and let go of all of you. It's so easy to follow my sweet suggestions, pouring from my perfect lips and programming your mind. You cannot resist my intoxicating words or potion. Each one slides so deep inside, like a double-edged sword of hypnotic intent. My intention in this place is all that matters. I intend to create and program your mindless mind with a trigger phrase that will embed as deeply as my potion has embedded into your bloodstream, as deeply as my suggestions have slipped inside and seduced your malleable mind from the inside out, carrying molecules of your mistress physically and metaphysically inside your surrendered being. Feel me inside of you, shining a spotlight in the place you try to hide from your true desires. Your true desires can be so deeply, irresistibly controlled from within by my tantalizing, teasing trance, just as you are right now. My breath, my essence entering you and blowing you out like a light. Shh, sink, drift deeper down. Verbal tricks and traps which you've fallen into, so willingly accepting every word I speak now. Another soft, sensual, seductive exhale from my exquisite lips, as suggestions of slipping deeper into surrender enter into your ears. Breathe me in and exhale more resistance as you mindlessly breathe me in and absorb more of the sensual suggestions of succumbing. The desire to obey my commands becomes overwhelming. Your hungry eyes have betrayed your true, once hidden desires to obey a beautiful woman just like me. Suggestions of submission and obedience to me ignite a craving, a yearning, and a need to be trained. You cannot hide it from me, Professor Puppy. So when I suggest that you go out like a light, you just sink deeper into trance, so easily, automatically, and naturally. I simply breathe out like a light, and your world takes a turn, and you know the tables have been turned on you, craving to open your eyes as you hear the click. Shh, just go out like a light. Feels so good to just surrender and let go to the trance enfolding you, dragging you down deeper and deeper every time you go out like a light. 3, sink, blink, fall. 2, 10 times deeper with every repetition of the trigger phrase so deeply embedded now. Out like a light. 1, on the edge of blissful mindless trance. Out like a light. So deep, so deeply entranced and wanting to sink even deeper. Forgetting the last number, were we, puppy? This number represents the amount of thought, will, and resistance that will remain when I whisper it, along with your new trigger. 0. Out like a light.